Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's December 26, 2025. We are in the New Testament book of Revelation, and we're going to read chapter 17 today. All right, so the bowls have been poured out, all 7 of the bowls. And we're going to get another little interlude here. Our author, John, is going to go back and talk about a couple of things that he talked about before. He talked about the prostitute, the whore of Babylon, and he's talked about the great dragon. And he's going to show us how they're related here. Symbols and symbols and symbols and symbols. We've talked about that a bunch as we've been going through Revelation. Yes, you could spend your entire life trying to decipher everything that's going on here. But this is a really good section to tell us why we shouldn't do that. Because it talks about the Babylon, the woman, and it talks about the beast. And then it tells us, okay, here's the meaning behind it. And it doesn't get into any of that stuff. It just keeps it nice and general and says, you know what, Babylon, that's the culture. That's that culture that's opposed to God. Pleasure and culture. There's the whore of Babylon. YOLO, you only live once. Just do it. Makes you feel good. Hey, if you don't do it, you're going to be left out. That's the whore of Babylon. And then we get the beast. What does the beast represent? Well, the beast represents not culture, but it's going to represent power, political power, just power in general. I'm stronger than you, and I can beat you up. That power. And we're going to see that as they start, they're connected. They're supporting each other. What's good for one is good for the other. But at a certain time, the beast decides, hey, I don't need the culture. I don't need to pretend that what I'm doing is good for everybody. It's good for me, and that's all that matters. And that's when the beast is done with the Babylon. And that's what we get in this section. The forces that are opposed to Christ rise up. They work together for a little while, but then even they can't stand each other, and they go after each other. And that's when it starts to fall apart. And that's as we're moving, and that's as a result of the judgment. As Christ is come and judgment is poured out, they realize we keep getting this phrase as we're talking about the whore of Babylon and the beast and saying, okay, well, here's the beast and it's got great power, but he's marked for destruction. Here's this, it's marked for destruction. So they're telling us these two do not survive. These two have always not survived. That's God's plan, is they were never going to survive. So as they start to realize they've lost, they get more and more frustrated with God, more and more frustrated with each other, and they start to actually turn on their own people who supported them. So not only do you face, if you're opposed to God, you face God's wrath, but eventually you're going to face Satan's wrath too, because Satan is going to take it out on you when he can't win. Let's go ahead. We're going to read Revelation chapter 17. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. And on her forehead a name was written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I marveled with great amazement. But the angel said to me, why did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that you saw was and is not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition. It suffered a fatal wound, and then it came back. So that's what that's talking about. That ties it back to what we've read before. And those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they see the beast that was and is not and yet is. So that's what the people respond to. Oh, well, if Satan came back, so maybe God isn't as strong as we thought he was. Oh no, God is as strong as we think he is. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going to perdition. Who are the kings? Who are the mountains? Again, we're not getting that deep. What we want to see is, hey, you know, it doesn't matter who they were. Their time was limited. God had a limit placed on their time all the way from the beginning. They were always going to be destroyed. But this is the old way of again, power, political power, absolute power, the culture and pleasure working together. Then we have 10 new kings rise up, and they say, well, we don't really need the culture and the pleasure. We can just beat people into submission. So we're going to pick this up back at 12. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. So their reign is even shorter. These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those who are with him are called chosen and faithful. Then he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which you saw in the beast, these will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to fulfill his purpose, to be of one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast, until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman whom you saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. So even their rebellion against each other was part of God's plan. And may God bless the reading of his word, and may God bless you.